London-based animation company Triggerfish has partnered up with Disney and the Department of Trade and Industry to give storytellers in Africa the opportunity of a lifetime. Joining me in studio is Stuart Frost. He's going to tell us about what that opportunity is. Hello.
Hi, great to be here.
It's great to have you here. Now, I think before we get into it, we have to find out what Triggerfish is. So why don't you tell us what Triggerfish does?
Triggerfish makes animated films. We've been around, we'll be turning 20 years old next year, and we've, in the last 10 years, have been really focused on developing our own intellectual property and creating films, feature films out of that, and exporting it to the whole world.
Now, the Story Lab is looking for creatives all across the African continent. Tell me a little bit about how the Story Lab came to be.
Well, it's kind of us going to the next level where we want to really spend a lot more money in development of the ideas, and we want to find the most talented artists that we could possibly find. So with the DTI, we put together a fund which is 44 million rand, which is, I think, probably the most significant script development fund the continent has seen for a long time. And we are trying to develop 6 or so properties, and 3 will be feature films, 3 will be TV series. And the idea is that at the end of a 2-year development period, we'd have a really world-class property that we can take into production. So that's, and the Story Lab is, in its first, the next 6 months, we're really just looking for the people and identifying the talent. And then over the next year and a half, from next year, we'll be developing their stories into things that we can take to market.
How did the Department of Trade and Industry get involved?
They've got an incentive that's called an incubator incentive, and so basically, or an incubator support incentive, and basically they look for where businesses are wanting to develop other businesses. So in the way animation works, or the whole film industry works, every film is its own business, and so we thought it fitted quite nicely because the people that we are developing will still own that business, or they will own the script and the series, so the IP belongs to them. At the end of the process, we'd like to buy it off them if we do go into production, but if we don't, then they can continue to have ownership of it.
Now, 44 million rand sounds like quite a bit of money. How is that money going to be distributed across the process?
It's well, this year it's really about finding the right people to bring on board, and then from next year we will start to really develop their scripts. And so the first phase is to get a lot of international consultants and people who've got deep history with this, and we're speaking to some people that have worked for many years in the Pixar story development department, with Disney development department, as well as private consultants from the UK and Los Angeles. So we're looking at really high-end mentoring talent and bringing those people over to Cape Town to meet with the potential, the writers and the directors, and then we are developing the story not only on paper, but visually. We'll be creating storyboards around the whole films, and we'll be producing quite a sophisticated animatic of the script. So basically, it's at the end of the process, we should be able to watch the whole film in real time and be able to see where it still needs work or when it's ready. So that's where it gets expensive. There's a lot of people that we're bringing in to support the process, and then we're paying the writers. It's not a huge amount of money, but it's kind of really in line with international option fees and standards there.
Now, this really is about the people you're going to find along the way. Who can enter?
Anybody. I think we're going for people over the age of 21. We're really wanting people with some life experience and people who've been doing it for a little while. But we've not had a lot of restrictions on who can apply. We would like people with experience, but if you've got a great story and a passion to tell that story, I think those are the things we'll be looking out for. We want to see that the people who bring the stories to us will be committed to those stories for the 2 years of development and the 3 years of production. So it's really something you've got to feel very closely to, and you've got to be really interested in doing animation for the world. So that's the profile of the people we're looking for.
So you don't need to have any prior experience.
No, you don't need it. It'll be an advantage, certainly. Yeah. We'll definitely, if someone comes in and they've directed a few feature films before and now they want to try animation, they're definitely going to have we're going to be very favourable towards people who we know can deliver, because we are looking for 6 people out of 1.2 billion. Yeah. So we are looking for the top people on the continent, and we believe that talent is evenly dispersed throughout the world. There's no one country that has a monopoly on talent. I think opportunity is not as equally dispersed, but with this, we think that we can provide an opportunity, and if we can get the talent in, I think we can create really, truly world-class properties.
Now, who's judging?
So we've got about 10 people on the judges list. From South Africa, it's the filmmaker and comedian David Cow, Gina Mhlope, who's a storyteller and children's book writer. Then from the UK, Peter Lord, he directed or co-directed Chicken Run, and he co-founded Arden Animations. Then there's Jonathan Roberts, who wrote The Lion King. Then there's a whole bunch of Disney executives, the really high up Disney executives who are going to help. And then there's the Triggerfish writers of Zambezi and Kumba and the development team at Triggerfish. So it's quite a good team of experts, and we'll all be writing notes on the top applications.
Now, what role does Disney have in this whole collaboration?
So we wanted to, well, first of all, we want the message that we are really going to the highest levels possible. This isn't only for the South African market, it's very much for the international market. And Disney are the biggest animation producer in the world, and it made sense to approach them and ask if they'd be interested, and they were. And so for the most part, they'd be providing mentorship. So they will help us select the winning applicants, and they will help us to develop those projects. And then they're going to take the top 6 over to Los Angeles for a 2-week program where they will get to see how the development process works at Disney. And then from there, we'll see how it goes. I think we're at the beginnings of the relationship, so I think there's a lot of potential for a lot more stuff further down. But right now, we're excited that they are kind of endorsing us and helping us to get the quality levels as high as they can go.
Now, the big question is, how do people enter?
If it's all online, the submissions, so if you go to triggerfishstudios.com, all the information is there, the way the payments work, and what we're looking for specifically is all there.
Thank you.
Thank you.